and welcome to History with Henry. I'm your host, Henry Notle, and today we're going to be delving into the festive tradition that is the Advent calendar. As early as October, many shops will start to sell these chocolate-filled countdown devices. And in more recent years, there's been a trend towards themed calendars, with everything from beer to beauty products, from Lego to ladies' nail polish, and now, the cheese Advent calendar. 'Tis the season to be jolly. But where did it all begin, I hear you ask? And that is a very good question that I, Henry Notle, will now endeavour to answer. Like many other festive traditions that we now embrace, Advent calendars began life in Germany in the year 1851. Earlier in the 19th century, it is known that German Protestant Christians started to mark Advent with the burning of candles, or by marking walls and doors with a line of chalk for each day. A new practice of hanging a devotional image each day ultimately led to the creation of the first calendar in 1851. It was handmade from wood. The first printed calendars appeared early in the 20th century, around 1906 or 1908. And then, in 1920, a man named Gerhard Lang introduced small doors to the calendar which could be opened every day. Therefore, it's Gerhard that we have to thank for the modern day phenomenon. During the Great Wars, there was a shortage of paper and card, and Mr. Hitler banned the production of Advent calendars, and that could have been the end of them. If it wasn't for a Mr. Richard Selmar who managed to gain a license to start producing calendars again. Then in the 1950s, somebody came up with the idea of placing a little chocolate behind every door, and suddenly the concept of the Advent calendar began to spread across the globe. And so it's from these humble beginnings that the Advent calendar has grown to be the international phenomenon that it is today, with a variety of surprises behind those tiny little doors. So there you have it, Henry's history of the Advent calendar. Now, if we were to delve a little deeper, the bigger question is, what even is Advent? Well, for this we have to go way back, because the word Advent comes from a Latin word adventus, which means coming, and that is a translation of a Greek word parousia. Scholars believe that in the 4th and 5th centuries in Spain, Advent was a period of preparation for baptism for new Christians, and this always happened in January at the Feast of Epiphany. So originally it had nothing to do with Christmas. By the 6th century, Roman Christians had tied this season of Advent to the coming of Christ. But the coming they had in mind was not his first coming in a manger in Bethlehem. No, it was his second coming at the end of the age when he would judge the world. And it wasn't until the Middle Ages that Advent was explicitly linked to the first coming of Christ at Christmas. Since that time, the Anglican Church in particular have celebrated the season of Advent with the lighting of 4 candles, and each candle carries a different theme. Firstly is hope in the promise that is to come. Second is preparation in the waiting for the promise. Third is joy and peace that can only be truly found in Jesus as Saviour. And fourth is love and adoration for who Jesus is and all that he has done for us. We may not like candles when we gather together. You may not even have a chocolate calendar to munch through over the next month. But this Advent season, more than ever, hold on to the hope that Jesus brings. Use this time to prepare yourself for what is coming. Allow the joy of the Lord to be your strength and live a life of love and devotion to Jesus, the Messiah that came to set us free.